marvelous tribute to a lot of people who are in this room with regard to the nature of our commitment to historic preservation and also to the history and the identity of our community. And I welcome that very much. And I also thank you all very much for being here tonight, but I just want to back up a little bit. I know you've heard a lot of talk tonight, but sometimes it's embarrassing with regard to the nature of all of that. But anyhow, just first of all, let you know that the people who organized this were extraordinary, because I had no clue when I mean, Peter Hayden totally deceived me. And of course, the stuff that's been going on for a period of time, and some of you, I mean, I can look across this room, and some of you, almost like a third of you, I've seen in the last couple of days. And you never gave away anything at all. So that it was really hard to accept the whole nature of that. And it's been suggested I name the people. But if I name the people, of course, then I'm going to forget about some people. And I don't want to do that. But that's the way this whole thing was a trick. Peter Hayden, and Peter Hayden can be very tricky. But Peter Hayden tricked me into thinking that somehow that we were going to give a little dinner party to those people who had been a part of the street exhibit program from the early period in the 1990s, and it continued to operate in relationship to it all the course of that time. And tonight, he got me over to his place, did this thing, gave me wine and all that sort of thing. He didn't show any signs at all of anything that was going to go on, and then lured me over here because he said they were opening a bar in this place, and he wanted to see it. So when I walked in that door, it was a total surprise. But what it is that I see looking around this room is something that's very important to all of us. And then what I see is community. And I can see all sorts of things in terms of the way in which things are brought together. Bob, John, I'm looking at you down there, and I understand you're responsible for all these signs up here and all that sort of thing. I could go around this room and pick out other people who have done things with regard to the way in which you succeed. There's Mark Hildebrand. I mean, everything that's here with regard to what First Martin did with regard to transportation, that's due to the photographs that were taken over 50 years ago by Mark Hildebrand. The nature of the community is extraordinary in this town. It has been, and one of the reasons we stay here, the reason we all love Ann Arbor, is the sense of connection that we all have to other people who care about this town. But I just want to say something with regard to the nature of why we're here tonight, because of course, some of you came to the Nichols Arcade last November. We had a big party there with dancing and music and food and all that sort of. It was only the second time in the history since 1915 that the Nichols Arcade had ever been allowed to be used for a public party. And we were all there. And why we were there? Because it was the last exhibit of the street exhibit program. And then we're here in this particular place because along comes Mike Martin and Darren McKinnon from First Martin, who decided they wanted to do an exhibit on transportation, which is something we always thought about. So that in the spring of this year, we all got together here with our big party inside and all that sort of thing, dedication outside to celebrate again the last exhibit. And we're here tonight because after having once again prepared for what is coming, because there's a lot coming, for the last exhibit, along comes Peter Hayden, who after 6 years of really dreadful contact sometimes with regard to him blaming me and me blaming him with regard to the nature of why we hadn't done it earlier, we have put together, Peter's got copies of it, a great exhibit, which is going to go in front of Peter's properties over on Washington Street and celebrates the importance of historic preservation and retaining the social identity of a particular community. And that's how this evening came together. Because Peter tricked me into thinking that somehow they were going to have a small little party, you know? And of course I was led over here instead. And I just want to say with regard to the nature of that, the way in which this community responds to what it is that we all think we want to do in different sorts of ways to make this community better is extraordinary. And it's all demonstrated here as I look around this room. Who are people who have been a part of the street exhibit program, who have been a part of the whole nature of creation of this community, people on the Citizens Council, the City Council, people who are currently working on projects. But I do remember, because it was mentioned earlier, Peter gave some early money to the project and really got it going. He gave me, at that particular point, $3,000. And it took a long time to get that $3,000 going to turn it into something, because now it's $1 million sort of project. But one particular day on Detroit Street, I recall that Peter shouted across the street, this was like a year or so later, he says, "Where the hell's my exhibit?" And I responded to him across Detroit Street, "You're going to get your goddamn exhibit. It's just going to take some more time." And here we are at this particular point. We not only have all the exhibits that we have, but we also have the one that we're going to be putting up this November. And you're all going to be invited to that dedication. And Peter's already organizing. I organized mine. But well, he's telling me not to announce it, but I've already started doing. But there will be a dedication, and there will be a party at that particular point. But this is the last one. I'm going to end on something that you should all be aware of with regard to what it is that we've been doing, continue to do at this particular point. And some of you are sitting out there. You were with me in a meeting yesterday. Some of you are meeting with me in a meeting that's tomorrow about the whole nature of the fact that at this particular point, all the exhibits in downtown Ann Arbor are going to become exhibits which are interactive. We are moving into the stage where the exhibits will talk to you. So when you're watching an exhibit on John F. Kennedy declaring the nature of what became the Peace Corps over there on State Street, you'll not only read an exhibit and see the photograph of him standing on Michigan Union, but you'll also hear him talking. And there'll be somebody narrating that with regard to the nature of our history. And when Josie mentions the nature of that, if it weren't for Josie Park and the AADL, we wouldn't have a website. We wouldn't have much of what we got. And I didn't ask for that. Josie gave that without my asking it. And at this particular point, that's what's going to make it possible to do this. And I just want to say that I'm really happy that I stayed in Ann Arbor, because I think all of you represent something in terms of community that is extremely difficult to find anywhere. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the tributes tonight with regard to what it is that's been going on for a period of time. Thank you.